Mm. Embrace it and find the joy in it while honoring where we've been and even still appreciating the things we've had to let go of. So when everybody's ready, you can go ahead and close your eyes and just kind of lean into the moment a little bit. Go ahead and catch up with your breath wherever you find it. This is a very relaxed, safe, and casual environment. So if you're more comfortable just with your natural breathing pattern, that's fine. But if you'd like to dig a little bit deeper and catch into some deeper breaths, that's great too. Just allow yourself to come present in the moment in any way that's comfortable for you. As we start to ease into it a little bit deeper, though, I'd like for you to explore that breathing pattern of yours and look for the place that you feel it the strongest. Maybe that's in your diaphragm as it expands and contracts. It could be the flow of air itself as it comes in and it goes out underneath your nose. Wherever it is, just allow your focus to go ahead and sit there a little bit. And again, because this is just a very relaxed, comfortable environment that is all about you, your posture, your form, all that stuff, it's not that big a deal. It's whatever's comfortable for you. That's what the fire represents. It's a place to just be and just enjoy the feeling and the energy within yourself without any judgment. Of course, of it, it's perfectly okay. But what I would like you to do is start to bring your attention and your focus up toward the top of your head. See if there's any stress or feelings there that you can go up. Take that attention, and then focus, and we're gonna slowly work our way down your body. So you can start to bring that focus closer down towards your neck and your shoulders. And just let it sit there for a few minutes. Explore it. Be curious. See what you can tease out, what you can let go of. Chest. In your arms. Wonder if there's anything that's lingering in your hurt that you can let go of. You just let the energy continue to flow down, take those feelings and all that stress with it down toward your stomach, towards your waist. As you get to your feet, I'm sure that you become aware of the supporting force that's underneath you. I'm sure you can feel the support of the floor along with your chair. And I'd like you to let your focus and your attention just sit there as if you were growing roots, connecting with that support underneath you. And as those roots begin to grow, they begin to deepen into the ground. Just allow it to bring yourself even more present, even more closer to yourself. All around us, it's impossible to avoid some form of a trail, whether it's a dirt path or it's a paved road. There's always a trail around us. So allow those roots so they grow deeper and deeper to open up your own personal trail. And feel as if you're walking slowly down that trail. Trail's going to eventually bring you through a nice wooded area. It's a nice safe space. It's a place that I feel is probably the safest place on earth, being in the outdoors. Just enjoy the surroundings, the vast trees, ups, shining downs, so many different feelings, sounds, and sensations that we can touch and get to tap into within the living world of us that can bring us more and more present and become a cure for the disconnect we all struggle with. Just like on every adventure, eventually you get tired, ready to sit down, take a break. there's a nice giant down tree that's right there along the side of your trail, and it's inviting you to have a seat, take some time, just simply rest. Sitting here on these trees, something magical begins to happen. We're quickly finding ourselves enamored by that feeling of love and support that's all around us. But this one particular tree is very, very full of those feelings, along with that sensation and desire we have to relax. It's feeding it so much so that the urge and desire to tap into a deep breath pattern just falls over you. The more that these feelings are coming over you through your breathing pattern, the more you're finding yourself feeling a need to let go of that stress and that tension from your day. Times as we transition from the stress, the craziness of our daily lives into that sense of relaxing with ourselves. It could be a bit scary, it can be a bit challenging. And that tree can sense that feeling that may be sitting there of uneasiness. And as he begins to feel that feeling from you, he pumps a special energy through his thick trunk that begins to radiate into you, helping you to remember that you're safe and the struggles and the feelings that you're going and holding on to right now are okay to have. But it's also okay, okay to transition and let them go. Transitioning into the space often means that your mind begins to slow down and all those thoughts that are normally racing through your head begin to drift further and further away from you. And that's what nature is facilitating in the session. Just allow those feelings to drift further and further. There's that uneasiness of letting go and transitioning into this moment becomes a little bit softer, you may start to hear the story of nature and her ways through the eyes of that very tree that you're now resting upon. Because there was once a time when that tree stood tall and he spent all of his days reaching high up into the heavens. Each day he would reach out trying to touch grandfather's son. And even though he was never successful in his efforts, he was happy and he was proud simply because of how tall he stood. And sometimes we find ourselves struggling with transition. We look back at the place that we were, and we find ourselves struggling with that same sense of pride. But there was one day that grandmother decided that for this tree, things had to change. And she took a deep breath and she blew with all of her might. And she took away that tree's way of life with her breath and with her effort. With a loud crash, that tree found himself ground, which again is a place that most of us can recall feeling like we've hit the ground because something in our lives that shifted. Curious if you can bring a moment like that to the forefront. Maybe it's something that you still struggle with today that could have happened many years back. And if it's something that's hard to look at, just remember that here in this moment, you're safe and it's okay. Because just like how you felt then, that tree, that tree was very angry when he thought about how his world had shifted, how he had lost his proper place in the world through his eyes. Because that hard fall he took meant that he would never again reach out for the race of grandfather's son, nor would he ever stand tall again. In his eyes, grandmother's breath had not only broken his pride, but had taken everything away from him. And in the months that followed, he laid on the ground, cursing grandmother for everything that he thought she had taken away from him. And over the course of that time, the anger that he had clung to, the sense of his loss of pride, it could all be seen upon him through the way that he lost his branches, even the rotting of his bark. But on an early spring morning, something changed. Because as he laid there, he watched a young squirrel that was scurrying around gathering food. And he found a smile had come to his face. Simply because that little squirrel had run across him in his journeys. And that little squirrel reminded him that he could still feel grandfather's son. He could still feel his touch. Long after his newfound friend had run away for the day, the warmth of the sun still lingered upon his bark. And as he laid there, still warm from the sun, he began to understand that even though he didn't ask for the changes that had happened, those changes that Grandmother Earth handed to him during that storm, they weren't meant as a punishment. Instead, they offered him a brand new opportunity to further his journey in a brand new way. Because life is a lot like a river, the one that's flowing off in the distance in your mind right now. It flows one way for many, many miles, but at some point, it meets a place of resistance that causes it to have to change. Whether that change comes by a growth in its size or forcing it to shrink. Maybe it has to gain ground or lose ground. And there's even times that water has to flow underneath the ground. But at no point does that flow ever come to a stop. And the reason for that is because the river, it never takes the time to stop and judge the changes that it runs up against. Instead, just like us, the river knows that the flow must go on, and so it does. Biggest things about what we hold on to as life transitions is just that we try to build a wall or a shrine around it in order to hold on to it because we fear what could be on the other side of the waterfall. And the more that that tree thought from this perspective, he realized and began to understand that whether he stands tall and plays home to the winged people, or he lies on the ground helping the four-legged, he still had a purpose. He still had something to move on and continue our life and find joy in. So therefore, instead, he looked at himself and realized that he was just like that river, where he met transition and he decided it was time to let go of the anger, the rage, and all the other words that we use to fill this, to build the stories that fill those holes. The more that we tell ourselves the stories around things, we pretend like there's a sense of comfort because we know that we can't change what happens. However, we can take that change and utilize it in a way to help us grow and find pleasure and enjoyment on the other side of the water. It's when we take this approach that we can tap into gratitude with a sense of confidence because we're able to see that the gift we're looking for was there in a hidden space. And that hidden space was because of the story that we told ourselves. It brings us to a great opportunity to whatever memory or feeling that you were holding on to for a few minutes. We can get up and walk over to the river and place it there and let it go. Taking with it the story that you spun in order to hold on to it. Because they no longer serve the direction you're heading. And the thing about transition that is most apparent is the fact that it's never easy to leave behind the things that we believe hold a special place in our heart, because they've helped us by shaping us, teaching us in order to bring us along to where we're at. So by no means does it mean that it's never easy to let them go and to not think about them. But ever since Grandma knocked down that tree, he still looks back and he thinks about those days. And he misses them, just like we miss everything that comes and goes in our lives. We're able to take special kind of solace though in knowing that there's a special memory that will always be with us, that's always allowing us that room to move forward. And if it's too difficult at this point in time to let those things go, then it becomes so important to honor them, by exploring new places and allowing yourself the grace to live on, carry on with your journey. That it's a great opportunity to just sit with yourself and tap into that curiosity to explore that perspective. But just like all journeys and adventures that we go on, there just comes the time that we have to return to the place that we started. So as we stand in our mind, allow gratitude to come to your heart. Let's consider focus, faith the tree, for sharing his story. Gratitude for yourself for going to this adventure. Now you find balance and harmony within yourself through these adventures. And then finally, if there's anything that's come up that you're ready to relinquish, place it down on the tree. And then you're ready. That trail. Yes. That's kind of a taste of the way that I present meditations. I've always used it as a tool to further my own healing journey, as well as tapping into a lot of storytelling and philosophy to really help bridge the gap and build a bit of a circle and a better understanding of what it is that I'm trying to achieve and why. And I think when you combine the three together, it opens up that door to lasting healing or lasting growth, whatever your purpose and intention is to use it. I think those were the tools really take shape. Absolutely, you're welcome.
So you were, it must have been a different story, probably, last time maybe, or is it?
I try to come up with something different every
Yeah.
time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Go away, Lisa, relax.
Yeah.
That's the most important part.